Hi, Dr. Bertman. My name is Rachel Haley. As you know, for this assignment, we have to talk about a couple of things, the A through D. So the first one is talking about modernism, postmodernism, informed research, and MFT. I feel that they're both relevant to MFT, and it gives marriage and family therapists a chance to look at both sides of the story, to kind of have everybody come together, to have a very good EBP research background, so that way everything can get answered or close to being answered. Modernists and postmodernists, they're totally different, but they do both raise very good questions leaning towards helping clients in marriage and family therapy, which that is the ultimate goal, to acquire as much research as you can to get the best answer that we can get. Me personally, I feel more towards a postmodernist view, just because the questions that they ask are, I feel, more helpful than modernism. I feel like a lot of questions have been answered from a modernistic point of view, but postmodernists are almost like a holistic doctor, so they're thinking about everything and also speaking with language. Language is a very big key dealing with marriage and family therapy. How people feel, how they perceive what someone says, how they think they say it, what that actually means to them, what's the definition of words. Language is a big tool when dealing with relationships, and communication is key, and learning through communication is learning through language. So that's why I feel postmodernist is a very, very big key. Towards that, with EBP, that is kind of hard to regulate and do research on that, but I will say that would be more of a quantitative and qualitative research project. But modernistic views, of course, have very good ideas and views as well, just as postmodernist. So I can see how both of them would definitely be informing research in MFT, because they're answering and asking questions that a lot of marriage and family therapists do ask, and is doing a wide variety, searching and looking for the answers that everybody has, not just one particular group and sticking with them, but to really get a better idea and to really form great opinions, questions, answers, all of those things to what all the marriage and family therapists have concerns about, especially with their clients. And also with both of these, a lot of marriage and family therapists can be a part of this research and have their clients a part of this, and that's a great way to get a lot of the answers that a lot of people are looking for. The role in research in my future, I would say that I would participate in some research studies, but I don't really see myself as a researcher per se. I will always look into research articles, looking for new ways to do things, and also to find out new ideas, because this is like the medical field, and it's always something new to learn every day. Something changes every day. So, with that being said, you have to keep yourself abreast, and you have to keep yourself knowledgeable of all of the readings and research that has been done in order to keep yourself in a now type of time, to always make sure that you're doing something that is of it is new, but it's still consistent enough to where it has research findings and a nice background, to where it has proven that most of the time using this particular study, it will have great outcomes and great effects towards the clients. But I will always be doing that, and research does consist of looking up different articles, researching them, learning them, seeing how that can affect you, your clients, and all of that. So I guess for any MFT, research should be a big part of their work, because that's how you learn different things, and that's how you're able to do your job. The video, that was a very intriguing video. I don't think a lot of people know how serious depression is and how it feels to have depression. With Andrew speaking of his depression and saying how he wrote his book and all of the many different stories and experiences he had from this, it was able to help others, which a lot of people won't come out about their depression, about things that they're going on with, because they think they're alone, but they're not. And Andrew, he was able to put himself out there and help others, and especially with the story with a friend of his, and he was suffering from depression, and he got the lobotomy and a lot of different other surgeries and electroshocks, but none of that was really working, and he was going there for almost like every other week to get these things done, therapy, the electric shock, then he's good, then he's not, and he starts all over again. But his grandmother was also suffering from depression, but nobody was able to talk to her, and she committed suicide, which they said that suicide is a very, very high rate with the depression, with people that suffer from depression. And I can see why, because he described depression as a slow death. That's very heartbreaking. And it's very heartbreaking to describe that to someone and they don't understand what you're going through. And people kind of take that for granted. And as he said, depression is, that term is used very loosely. You use it for a little kid when he's depressed because it's raining outside. He wanted to go play, and they're depressed because they just had a breakup. But then you have depression, the clinical diagnosis of depression. And that is something that is very, very serious, and it needs to be taken seriously because a lot of times it can end up in suicide, which is terrible. No therapist, no mother, no family member, no friend wants to know that someone close to them were dealing with depression and died and could have been saved if only they had someone to talk to, if only they had that person to help them. And I liked how he said that he went to East Africa, and one of the chiefs there was saying to him that he thought that Western ideas were so weird of how we dealt with depression, that we would put them in a small room and talk to them about the bad things that happened to them and this, that, and that. And for him to ask him, well, what do you guys do? And he said, well, we take them out to the sun so they can feel energized. We play music for them to get their heart rate going and just feel happy, and have the whole community talk to them, be with them, and make them feel at home and feel loved, which is something that I feel that we need to do more of. And that's why with a lot of different programs now, they're starting to have the community involved, which is very useful, because having the community helps a lot for a person to know that their friend is there, their family members, a lot of people to help them to grow, to tell them that it's okay and we don't care that you're going through this, but we're going to help you get through this. It means a lot, because a lot of people feel like they're fighting their battles on their own, and when they have someone else to help them, it completely changes for them. And as he described for his depression, when he would see missed phone calls on his answering machine, and he thought, that's a lot of people for me to call back. When he wanted to eat something, he thought about cooking and then cleaning afterwards and actually eating and chewing, and he thought that was a lot. That's a very, very serious thing, to the fact that you really do not feel like doing anything except being there. So I think the recovery mental health model is a very good model, because it deals and has the points of all these things, dealing with depression, dealing with schizophrenia, that people need to know about and to help them with. So I would definitely be using that as well. For the questions for the personal clinical focus, I guess my questions for that would just be, because I'm going to be using infidelity. So after me picking that and using my research articles for what I want to do with infidelity, I guess what would be the big project? Like, what is the assignment? I know it said 2 to 3 pages, but what exactly am I describing or talking about, or really learning about to get through for my clinical focus? I guess I'm just kind of confused about almost the whole thing. I mean, I know I basically have to figure out something that I want to do that's going to be my specialization. And from there, I'm just kind of confused. So if I could just get more insight of the specific this specific project so I can know exactly, and then maybe we can email and probably have a Skype session as well of next week. That would be very helpful, and I would really appreciate that. So yes, these are all my answers from A through D for assignment 3. Thank you, Dr. Bartman. Bye.